this is Russ. Yeah, I'm still inside. Today it's actually between 45 and 50 degrees, but it's wet and it's foggy. So yeah, we're not going out there. Anyway, I had a person ask me recently, because of the fact that I have a very tall riding position, when I stop, okay, I cannot just stay seated on the saddle and put my feet down. Yeah, because if I tried to put my feet down while still seated, I'd topple over, right? Because it would tip one way or the other. So he says, well, how do you get on and off of your bike? Because he knows that I've explained it, but he says, can you show it? Well, kind of hard to show it, especially now. But, if this was the spring or some other time, I would be able to do it. But since it isn't, let me see if I can answer his question, just here. Now, I did do a video in the past showing how to do this, all right? I don't know exactly which video it is because it's probably about 2 to 3 years ago. It was one of the first early videos where I showed how to do it. And so I'm going to see if I can explain it, all right? So here's what I do. As you know, many times I don't even stop at the stop sign. As you know, if there's nobody around, I will just slow down and then just keep going. But if I do have to stop, this is what I do. So as I approach the stop, okay, the bike is slowing down, and then I keep one foot on the lowest pedal. Okay, both feet are on the pedals, but the lowest one. So let's say I'm going to stop and put my left foot down first. All right. If I did that, the left foot would be on the pedal closest to the ground. All right. Then as we're slowing down, okay, I will simply step off of the bike. All right. So basically, your bike is still in motion. Okay, it's still in motion. While it's moving, I'm already standing on that pedal, on that left foot. All right. And then when the bike finally comes to a stop, I will simply just step down. Yeah. So that's how I do it. All right. Now, when I get started, it's similar. However, instead of the pedal, before I stand up and get onto the saddle itself again, I will put the position of the pedal in a position where when I step on the pedal, it will propel the bike forward a little bit. Okay, so I wouldn't say that the pedal is level to the ground. It would be maybe, let's say 45 degrees to the ground. If you look at the crank arm, it's kind of like 45 degrees. And then so as I step forward onto that pedal, it might be less than 45 degrees. As I step forward on it, it's going to propel the bike forward a little bit as I'm stepping, and then I will just step up onto the pedal and sit. And at the same time, I will use my throttle to help propel the bike more forward. Okay. So at the same time as I'm stepping, I will hit the throttle slowly, okay, and step up and sit on the saddle. All right. Now, Mrs. Wright does the same thing. She does exactly the same way as I do. It's probably the only time that she even uses the throttle. Okay, it's just to get started on from a dead stop. Although I use the throttle a lot more than she does, but I will use that throttle to kind of help propel the bike forward as I'm stepping up. Otherwise, if you don't do that, then you have to continue to keep pedaling to keep your momentum going forward. And that's sometimes hard, especially, let's say if your gears weren't in the proper gear at the time of starting, okay, it's going to be harder to push down on that pedal, right? So the forward momentum being helped by the throttle really does help a lot. So those who don't use the throttle, you might want to consider using the throttle for that particular purpose, to kind of get you moving first, and then you can just keep pedaling if you want. That's what Mrs. Wright does. In my case, I'll just keep throttling. So that's how I do it. Now, I was thinking about this whole thing about, this question, but also about other questions. People say it would be helpful if you showed us this or if you showed us that. A lot of times I've already done it. It's just that maybe you're newer to the channel and haven't seen them. So I would encourage you to kind of look through some of the older videos. Yeah. The problem is it's very hard to search for that, because unless I put a word, like a keyword that talks about something like that, you might not see it. And of course, see how fast this topic got talked about and it's over and done with now, right? So it's not maybe the main topic of a video, so it would be very hard for you to find. But if you just watch some of the older videos, just watch some of the rides. I mean, even now during the winter months, you could even watch those rides while we're kind of stuck here in the winter. It's actually not winter yet. It's actually the fall, but it sure feels like winter. But if you watch some of those older videos, you'll learn some other things because, as you might know, my videos kind of jump from topic to topic because they're rather long. Many of the rides are 30 to 40 minutes or 45 minutes long even. And we talk about a lot of different things. So whatever pops into my brain at the time, okay, we talk about it. And so we may have already covered it, but it may not be a specific video about that one topic. That's the whole thing, okay? But yeah, I encourage you to watch some of the older videos. All right, what else are we going to talk about today? Keep bumping into this microphone. Oh, let me show you something here. Let me squeeze down here. Yeah, remember this thing? This is my audio recorder. If you had one of these Zoom recorders before, you might notice that the whole texture of the recorder was kind of had this rubberized feel to it. Over time, the rubber stuff starts to deteriorate, and now then it's just all tacky and it's terrible, right? It just falls apart. So I took some, what's it called, Goo Gone? You know what I'm talking about, right? That liquid Goo Gone, and I basically took off the entire rubberized surface of the recorder. Now it feels really good, but now it's actually so slick that if you were to hold this thing, you'd probably drop it easier. So I understand why companies put things on products, but over time, they just fall apart. Yeah. So, So I kind of fixed it up, but part of me says maybe I shouldn't have fixed it up. Put it back down there. Okay. See, that's a quick topic, right? Not the main topic, but we talked about something else. Okay. What else do I want to talk about? All right. Well, other people have asked me about the bikes that are still currently here. We talked a little bit in another video about which bikes I still had here and which bikes, I've moved on and, why I kept certain bikes and why some bikes had to go forward and get moved on. Those that got moved on, a lot of times it's because new models were coming out, or I can feel that it will be coming out soon. Best to move that model out for the new one because we are limited in space here, okay? And then others have said, why haven't you taken those bikes and done like a video where you show all the different bikes? Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah, I am kind of limited as to what I can show in my home. So as you always notice, whenever the photos are ever taken of the videos, of the bikes on the videos, it's always against this one door. You ever notice that? That is the only area that I have that is not filled with something on a wall or something like that. And I am not allowed to record in the house. I told you guys this before, but I'll let you guys know again in case you're new. I'm not allowed to show a lot of stuff in the house. It's just a rule that we have here that if I'm going to do a video, I'm limited to what I can and cannot show in the home. So that's why I don't do a video where there's like multiple bikes together. Now, if I were to take the bike outside, I still have a limited view. I don't want to show the whole neighborhood. I don't want to do that. So I would have to move the bikes to an open area to do that. I've only done this once where I've actually taken 3 bikes, I think, and moved it all together and took a shot of it. But to do it, here's how I had to do it. I had to put 2 of the bikes on the car rear rack, and then I moved it to that location, left the missus right there with the bikes, drove the car back all the way home, picked up another bike and drove it back there and put all 3 together. That is the only way I am allowed to do it, okay? So that's why you don't see all of the bikes together. Now, there's many times I've been trying to think about, how can I show what's in the house with all these bikes so that you can see that there's quite a bit of a mess in the house. I can't do it. I am not allowed, okay? So because of that, that's why I don't show all of the bikes in one shot, because there's no possible way for me to do this without revealing the rest of the house. So it's just a rule that we have in the house that if I was going to do this YouTube channel, I'm limited to what I can and cannot show in the home, all right? All right, anyways, that's basically all the things I wanted to cover. I wanted to cover this whole thing about how you step up, how do you step down, and then why certain things happen here on the channel. Now, okay, I will leave you with one more thing. and I talked about this on the Russ Talks videos, which is Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I've had a couple people not ask me, but mentioned that the channel has been changing quite a bit. It really has not changed at all. It's actually, if I didn't do anything at all, you would have been seeing these videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That's when I had e-bike videos for the last year and something, right? So that has not changed. That's exactly the same. What I did is I added stuff to it. I added Monday, Wednesday, Friday videos. So I added 3 more days of videos, but there's just not enough to talk about e-bikes for 6 solid days, okay? So I said, I will talk about things that it's on my mind or things that I want you to know about, and we just called it Russ Talks, right? Now, I was under the thinking that maybe it should go to a separate channel, but you know what? I'm getting too old at this point. I know it takes a certain amount of time to start a channel up again. I says, I'm not young enough to do this, all right? I'm gonna keep it on the Russ is Right channel so that, you know, those who want to see all of it have one location they can see it, and those who just want to watch the e-bike channels stuff could still stay on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. But Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is an addendum essentially to it. It adds additional stuff. So the channel has not changed. It is exactly the same, just with added things. Okay. And again, those who don't want to see that, I've noticed, don't watch it because, you know, we have a certain quantity of people who watch the channel on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, which is less, of course, than the main e-bike stuff, which is fine. But I'm going to leave it on the channel because it's just easier for me because I'm older. I'm not like some of the other YouTubers who are younger. They can start multiple channels and, you know, devote years and years of time to get it going. I don't have that kind of time. I have to do what I can do, and that's it. All right. So yeah, I hope that you allow me to continue doing it that way. And so far, I think those who have been watching the Russ Talks videos have been very happy with it. From what the comments I've been getting, they seem to like it. So if you haven't even tried it at one time, at least watch a couple of them, see if it's something for you. But we just talk about little odds and ends things. They're not that long. You know, most of my e-bike videos could be 30, 40 minutes long when we were riding, you know, on the days we were able to ride. But most of the Russ Talk videos are very short. They're usually around 10 minutes or so. It's just the time it takes me to drive from home to the Costco area. So anyway, and I hope to eventually add things where I take you to different places, but it is winter coming up and it's a little difficult to get out to go do things like that. You know, the Chicago suburban area doesn't have a lot of things you can do unless it's, you know, I don't know, unless it's a restaurant. I mean, there's really not much else locally around here. But there's 1 or 2 things that I would like to do, which I will try to do maybe as we get into the spring months, where I can actually get out and be a little more mobile to do it. But otherwise, yeah, we'll be in the vehicle talking, or we might even do stuff like this where we'll green screen and talk a little bit. So, because, you know, as the winter comes up, it's going to be colder. I can't stay in the car all the time. But, you know, if I'm driving somewhere, I can easily do that talk in the car. And that's why there's so many in the car episodes of Russ Talks, because it's just easy. I'm gonna drive there anyway, so I might as well get my thoughts out. That was the whole reason why the Russ Talks videos started up. So, all right, that's all I wanted to let you guys know. Hopefully you guys forgive me for doing it that way if you don't agree with it, but we have to stick with that because that's what I can do at this point, okay? All right, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Every YouTuber says that, but it's true. I hope you do those things because it does help the channel out, okay? I'll talk to you guys next time.